Okay, good morning and welcome to another episode of Business Spotlight. I'm very excited to sit down today with Mariam Mnatsakanyan from Virtu Pharma, and she's revolutionizing the science space with some deep tech. So welcome.
Thanks, Stephen, for having me. So perhaps a little bit about the Virtu Pharma before I talk about myself. So Virtu Pharma is a deep tech company. Basically, we built a cloud-based network for laboratories, and we enable real-time lab work in remote between the corporations, industries, researchers, and hopefully down the track we will involve also the government. Virtu Pharma has also a training platform which is about where we digitize complex scientific and medical devices. And by doing this, we give digital access to complex scientific instruments that otherwise are very costly for the universities to obtain. And when you digitize, you can give to unlimited number of users to these instruments, and moreover, we can include and involve the industry side of the application of these instruments. And so we basically network the entire system, starting with students, of course, university teaching systems, and the industry. And the vision that Virtu Pharma has is about, we want basically to close equal access for all gap, which means we want the science to be kind of democratized. So no matter how much funding you have in your lab, and no matter how many contacts you have, how many conferences, so we want to make it equally accessible to everyone. And why not to share? And Virtu Pharma, this network, cloud-based network that we are building, is about that. Let's work and collaborate more. And by doing this, we basically help each other to come up with faster innovations, faster vaccines, faster regulatory compliance. And basically, this is the future, I think. And we truly believe that we emphasize on relationships. Let's collaborate more. And that's where the Virtu Pharma came around.
Nice. And so you started in back 2020, you said. What led to you doing this? What was the thing that said yes?
Yeah, that click moment, right? Basically, my background is lab. I'm analytical chemist. I finished my PhD working on complex instruments, how we can develop sensitive methods for complex sample quality control, and how we can basically have methods that can be very, very sensitive when you analyze complex samples, not to miss any traces of toxic compounds or impurities, for example. And while working with academics, with very strict industrial labs, with some government agencies, I came to realize that no matter in what type of lab you work, there is always lab budget restraints. Money is not enough. And this comes for many reasons, like, lack of government support, very competitive grants to get to, and labs are mostly doing research for, innovations. Of course, there are other labs doing also for commercial reasons. So I thought, like, why we don't basically have a system where we can work together, share resources, and have mutually beneficial infrastructure where I can allow someone use my resources, pay me for that, and at the same time I help the other laboratories, accelerate their innovations. And first thing first, I actually designed the entire infrastructure and applied for a patent. So I applied for Australian provisional patent just to see if this is something interesting, if other people are doing, and if there is any innovation of my thinking. And it was quite helpful to know the IP response that, yeah, this is kind of innovation. This is innovation. So it started from there. And in 2022, last year, we even applied for international patent in a few countries. So entire technology is patented, excuse me. And now is the time, basically, since last year, we are trying to make this as a business, basically, to go as a business, not just R&D, not just, thinking how we can make it innovation that can revolutionize the lab work and the lab tech, system, but let's do it as a business so we can basically survive and thrive.
Mm-hmm. And what's who are you as a business? Who are you targeting? Who's going to be the customers?
So our potential customers are all lab-based industry verticals, basically anywhere where there is a lab involved, which means lab experimentations. They are our potential customers, because what we do, we create this ecosystem for borderless collaborative lab work. So the lab scientists can work together. We automate that. And in doing this, you are not facing the hurdle of, I find a lab, I need to buy now ticket costing 2K, 2,000 to fly somewhere, to do my experiments. Now I can see all these available resources online, and I can network and collaborate with them and accelerate my work. And in this way, it's time and resources saving for that particular lab. And basically, the other lab will be very happy actually to increase, to decrease their equipment or devices idle time. Yep. Idle time means, the devices when they are not in use, or the resources when they are not in use. This is a wastage, right? And if we can close that idle time and increase return on investment for those labs, it's a win-win.
Yep.
Both sides.
Yep. So two-sided marketplace. Yeah.
Yes.
What have been some of the, I guess, the challenges for you personally over the initial stages?
Actually, many challenges. It's not always rosy, as
Yep.
I explained previously, right? First of all, challenge was kind of to switch from lab space, where is my expertise. I worked PhD, postdocs here, to technology field. So it's different.
Yep.
And the benefit was that I could actually use my knowledge, my analytical thinking that I gained over the years in lab to technology field, just to think analytically, more structured wise, and try to basically think how to build a technology that will be efficient, sustainable, and most important of all, beneficial to the customer, right? And the challenge was that, switching part. When you come from lab, you come to technology, mm-hmm. and you have the vision, you know how it should work, but then down the track, with time, you should also know about, different types of technologies, programming, softwares, advantages, disadvantages, because overall, as a founder, is up to you what type of technology to use. Mm-hmm. And not an easy decision when you come from chemistry lab, because you don't know anything about this software programming, right? And so with time, I can say that I actually learned a little bit programming myself as well. It's quite fun. And I think the hard part was that switching basically the fields, but I should say that they are not separated. So I'm still my expertise in lab. I added another vector of competence, which is programming. So I gained some knowledge in different types of programmings, and I can basically give even feedback to my developers. asking questions, challenging them. Yeah.
Nice. And so, yes, you mentioned that you've got developers, you've got a small team. Tell us a bit about your management style.
Look, I always tell to the team. So the team we are about five of us, but we also have interns, and we are also open for a few more roles. I put advertisement in LinkedIn and in other places. I wouldn't say I have such, particular style in management, but to us as startup, and which I mentioned to the team, we need to stick to the deadlines. And when we have deadline, doesn't matter what time you do your work. It's not 9 to 5. The most important is the outcome. If we decided this is the task, this is the deadline, we have to stick to the deadline. And another very important thing while running a startup is the keeping the progress going.
Momentum.
Even if not big steps, but small steps towards the goal. Sometimes that small step might not be visible, might not be, this drastic that everyone will say, wow, good achievement, right? But even small steps to the right direction, that is important in order we don't become static, but we are dynamic. We progress dynamically and slowly to our goal. And I try to be as much as, understanding to team members, and as much as possible collaborative, and basically we have brainstorming sessions as IP heavy project, and this is it.
So it's kind of well known the challenges of recruiting tech talent. How have you found it, and then have you found anything that's helped you attract talent?
Look, that's a tricky situation and tricky question. In Australia, I found it's very hard to find tech talent. Basically, as a startup, we are facing being in competition with big companies that have much resources. They basically pour in money just to keep their talent. And the market is so, scattered. There are not many talented, for example, programmers.
Yep.
And when you find, then you have to be able to negotiate such a way that they don't leave you and go to join a big company of 10, 20 years of running history. So the point that I managed to apply and convince that this is the actually greatest startup to join is that we are actually offering innovation. This is a heavy IP project, and we are going to revolutionize the everyday lab work. And this is something that talented programmers, they like to be inside and work with challenged projects, and gives them like more motivation, because some people like this, the adrenaline of oh, this is a challenge, let's solve it. And to my happiness, I found some people that like the challenge. They don't get scared of this is deep tech, this is a complex, nothing yet there, so we can basically follow, this is innovative thinking, but they like it. So I think in one sentence to answer is that IP part, that we are actually building something new, which comes with challenges, but down the track reward will be quite impactful, I hope.
Yeah, so you're using the vision to enroll people. That's nice. That's well done.
Yes.
Looking to the future, what do you think is the key to getting this to market and making it successful, whatever you define that as? What do you think's where you need to focus?
Yeah, look, of course, we work with our business roadmap and product roadmap. So basically, it's a deep tech. We have features from today up to the next 5 years that we have to build. And the next 12 months, we have a vision of, and we are working on having our deep tech beta version that will be launched. And basically, we are, as of now, doing our lead generation for B2B. In fact, we recently partnership with SFS Pharma Logistics. This is pharma logistics company working in APEC countries, and basically they do such a great job. They transport biological samples that require very sensitive and strictly controlled conditions for their transport, for example, temperature, light, pressure, and they transport those samples basically globally, mostly focused in APEC country, but I mean, this is quite impressive. So we actually joined our forces to launch the beta version, and with bringing on our beta users to the platform so they can test, give us our feedback, and after the collection of feedback, we'll be launching our commercially viable product in the second half of the year. So now we are working on the beta, and after beta polishing, we'll be able to launch our next version by the end of the year.
Excellent. And what's how do you go about your own coming from lab, PhD, now you're an entrepreneur, how do you go about your own personal development in that space?
Actually, it challenged me a lot. Challenged me a lot because I learned that in lab space, we brainstorm a lot, we discuss a lot, around, morning tea table, we think, we openly discuss. But in the entrepreneurship and in the startup world, I understood that it's a competition. It should be competing. There is no open source research knowledge like we do in science, right? We write papers, we work together. While in a startup world, I understood it's a competition. You don't go and open all your cards to everyone, basically. So it was a challenge I learned during the course from my advisors. They respected my team. They told me, you don't teach everyone. You just have to know, be more strategic, basically. Don't bring your your lectureship background into the startup. This is not about teaching others. This is about staying competitive and pushing your startup forward. Don't teach. So that was a big change of my thinking in my mindset. I'm still perhaps struggling with that. Like, you cannot go and change yourself, but definitely I'm getting into that, this is competition. We have to push forward, So I think that was my big change in my thinking and in my professional, mindset.
Yeah, no, so it's mindset is the most important thing you can work on in this game. Yeah, for sure. Look, I want to thank you very much, Mariam. This has been it's been enlightening, and it's really cool to see someone with a huge vision and trying to make big changes. I want to wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you.